Hello and welcome again to our continuing series of Lent Readings for 2023, considering people who encountered Jesus. Today it's day 13, and I want to look today at two men who met Jesus who were suffering from demon possession. Immediately before the passage we're going to look at, Jesus and the disciples cross Lake Galilee. It was that time when Jesus was asleep in the boat as the wind and the waves started to increase. And as the storm hit, the disciples feared for their lives. They thought they would drown, so they wake Jesus up. He stands up, he rebukes the wind and the waves, and everything goes quiet. They cross over to the other side, and immediately they're confronted by two demon-possessed men. Jesus, having now dealt with the external storms, is confronted by internal ones. Let's read the passage from Matthew chapter 8, starting at verse 28. When he arrived at the other side of the region of the Gadarenes, two demon-possessed men coming from the tombs met him. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. "What do you want with us, Son of God?" they shouted. "Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Some distance from them, a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged Jesus, "If you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Those tending the pigs ran off, went into town, reported all this, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. It's interesting to note, in Mark's account, in Mark 5, and Luke's account in Luke 8, there's only one man recorded. Yet here in Matthew, there are two. We find a similar thing in the next chapter, where Matthew records two blind men, and yet other gospel accounts seem to only refer to one. Either the gospel accounts refer to different events, or one of them has changed the numbers for a particular reason. I think it's quite possible that Mark and Luke are recording some select individual events, but Matthew is putting events together and has no problem talking about two men who were set free as a single event, even if they're actually encountered on different occasions. If that is right, it will be because the Jewish law required two witnesses for an account to be taken seriously, and Matthew is primarily writing to Jews. Two men were delivered, but either time or length of scroll didn't allow for all the details to be recorded. So Mark and Luke select one of them, and Matthew combines them together in one story. Anyhow, as the boat reaches the shore, Jesus and the disciples are confronted by two demon-possessed men. These men are raging, violent, isolated from society, unclean from living amongst the dead in the tombs. If these men were encountered today, they may be diagnosed with a mental health issue. Roger Breverton, a Christian psychologist, says that mental illness may have several origins. It may be biological, a chemical imbalance. It may be psychological, the emotional effects of past events or experiences, or it may be spiritual, of demonic origin. Frequently, the state of a person may be a combination of more than one of these. Biological illness is treated by medication. Psychological illness is treated by counselling. Spiritual oppression or possession is treated by prayer ministry. Jesus has the power to heal, restore, and deliver whatever the root cause. At his command, the demons flee and the men are set free. Jesus has the authority over every storm of life. One aspect of this story that's often raised is about the loss of the pigs. Jesus cast the demon from the men into the pigs, and they rushed down into the water and are drowned. And some ask, why? I think one point to read from this is the value that Jesus places on the men. They are more valuable than the loss of the pigs. One other point that might emphasize this is that at the very end of this story, Jesus crosses back over to the other side of the lake. He came all the way across that lake, healed 2 men, and went all the way back again. Because that is the value that Jesus puts on all people, including you and me. Until next time, have a blessed day.